let me know on the chat if you could hear me. I already asked for it, but had my mic muted. Please let me know if you guys could hear me. We're going to get going at 7:15. How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana, 55-10 winners at Maryland. In another game, it was just a straight up beatdown by the Hoosiers. That was exciting to watch because you're an Indiana fan. And if you're not an Indiana fan, well, then why are you listening to this? So, 812 393 2600 is the number. Obviously, I am a little bit dressed up like Charlie Brown because it's Halloween. And Halloween is the Christmas of holidays in my world. And I love them. And we're here live at a Halloween party with a former call-in show host himself, John Decker, a regular caller to the show, Ryan Decker. They'll be joining us on mic, and we want to hear from you. 812-393-2600 is the number. Indiana, 55-10 winners. Let me know on the chat if you could hear me okay. Hopefully you can. And you will get rolling. Indiana on the day, 588 yards of total offense, 367 yards rushing. Uh, let's just break it down like this. Kalon Black, 14 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Roman Hemby, 18 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Kobe Martin, 11 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Alberto Mendoza, 1 carry for 53 yards. Fernando Mendoza, 4 carries for 24 yards. Why do I mention all of those guys? Because all of them ran for more yards than Maryland's leading rusher, who carried the ball 4 times for 12 yards. Maryland on the day, 17 carries for a total of 37 yards. Indiana did have one big play that they gave up, a bust that was a long touchdown for this, the seventh offensive touchdown that they have allowed on the season. And in the post game, Sig said that he was very, there's plenty to clean up, to say the least. He also said that there were no major injuries coming out of this thing as well. And so that's a positive, obviously, as well. 812-393-2600 is the number. Please join us, and we want to hear from you because this is an Indiana team that is deserves everything that they get. This defense uh, has been absolutely incredible. Uh, Held Maryland to under 300 yards of total offense, almost all of that through the air. They were one dimensional on the day. And, you know, it just comes back to this one thing from SIG that we play all the time on here.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Just that simple. 812-393-2600. Lines are open. We want to hear from you. Again, we're going to have some guests here. Ryan, if you want to come on here and jump on here right now, please do. Please do. We're going to be joined here by Ryan Decker. Michelle says on the chat, I had no idea you were Charlie Brown's twin. Easiest costume in the world right now. Plus, Charlie Brown is really great as well. We are joined by Ryan Decker, who is a regular caller to the show.
Hi there.
Right here. Ryan, you're obviously somebody who is calls in the show, pays attention very closely to the Hoosiers, and you know your football too. So, just your thoughts on the game and how everything played out today.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a real big takeaway for this one for me is defense was just incredible, right? I mean, you got to look even start of the game, right? Fernando Mendoza has a tough little interception there, one where it felt like there might have been a little bit of DPI.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Seemed like there's a little bit of extracurricular, but
I'll grab it.
yeah, to be able to hold him to a field goal right off the bat, that's a very good start. And then all the way around, anytime you can give up only 10 points and one offensive touchdown, that's a pretty good performance. All right.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head too because Indiana started slower than they normally do, and yeah, they're on the road, and winning on the road in the Big Ten is difficult wherever you go. However, we'll have you on too if you join us. We got another. It's a reunion show for the call-in show here, but Indiana got off to a slow start, and yet they put up 55 points and absolutely dominating. Do it without Elijah Surratt was out of the lineup. You had a number of different guys get banged up. Apparently, nobody is banged up real badly, and they just roll.
Yeah.
They just roll week after week after week. They just know how to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, very happy to see that people like Aiden Fisher and Surratt, even though they're out for this one, they're not going to be out for the whole season. And, those are people we're going to need down the stretch, not only in the Big Ten championship game, assuming we're able to get to that point, but also in the college football playoffs. And so to be able to prove that we're able to not only beat a team like Maryland on the road, but also beat them in that sort of fashion is really impressive without those key players.
Week after week after week, this Hoosier team just continues to put up huge numbers offensively in terms of points. And yet, Fernando Mendoza maybe doesn't put up gigantic. He's not throwing for 350. He's not doing. He's just efficient with the ball and makes things happen. And then plays a little over 3 quarters, and then he's good to go. Just the fact that they're able to do as much as they do offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really really incredible.
Yeah, something I was really impressed with, even though it's garbage time, is Alberto Mendoza. He had a couple of really nice runs there. And you and I were talking about it while we were watching the game, just how much he was able to get past some of these defensive backs, these linebackers who those are the guys who um, should be able to be faster than a
Yeah.
quarterback. And something that's promising for the future, especially since Fernando Mendoza is probably his last year at IU, going to the NFL draft.
Well, this defense too, being as effective as they are, when you're talking about a team that doesn't have Aiden Fisher in the lineup, there was no drop off at all. They it was just the next guy up went ahead, and it keeps happening. Elijah Surratt, same exact thing, which also makes me believe even more that this all is very very sustainable going forward.
Yeah.
You know, Sig's going to be here, and he can just continue to plug guys in, and it's working.
Well, when you have a backup linebacker go for a pick there, and you're missing your Aiden Fishers of the world, and having people like that still being able to have such an effect on the game is impressive. It's the type of depth that we've never really seen before at IU.
Reed on the chat says, Reed from Atlanta, who was with us last week, he said, now auditioning to be intern Charlie's intern. Great, considering we did it without Elijah Surratt and Aiden Fisher. And he says, starting to think we could hang with the SEC teams because our defense is so tough. Oh, I think they proved that many weeks ago. This has been an absolutely incredible job by them.
For sure, man. I mean, I think if we haven't proved that we're a top 2 team in the country, I don't know what else we can do to prove it. I think we should be number 1 in the country, right? And I think if we didn't have Indiana or Hoosiers on the front of our chest, we might be, because we've had the more impressive schedule and more impressive results, right? I don't think any team has a win as good as a win at Oregon this year, and so it's just really impressive.
It's getting more and more difficult to ignore what's going on here in Indiana. It's been a ton of fun. Your final thoughts on Indiana now 9-0 for the second straight season.
I'm just excited about it, man. I think Hoosiers all the way. I'm gonna try to be there for Big Ten championship game. Try to be there for college football playoffs. Just cheer them on all the way. That's
Ryan,
gonna be fun.
Thanks so much for joining, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. 812-393-2600 is the number. Again, we're live at a Halloween party at John Decker's house here, and that was Ryan Decker joining us. We're happy to have more people join us. 812-393-2600 is the number. Pick up the phone. I know you got Game 7 of the World Series going on. You have Purdue currently nothing at Michigan, so we'll see how that plays out. What's up? Yeah, come on around. Going to have another guest here. All right. We had Jeremy Hood says, how far have we come from McFadden getting ejected, costing us the Cincy game, to being able to win by 40 plus on the road with 2 All-Americans out and Surratt and Fisher is nothing short of incredible. And I don't argue that for a second. And this team's resilience, I think, has really been something really special for this Hoosier team as well. Again, we are joined here, and I don't know your name. What's your name?
My name's Tommy.
Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Your thoughts on just how the Hoosiers have put together their season, and did you get a chance to watch a bunch of the game today?
I did get a chance to watch the first half of the game. That's usually and I am a fan. I know Signetti wants us to say the whole game, but I have watched most of the first half this year because they're going up by 30, But yeah, I got to watch it here at Ryan's house today, and then went home to break some brownies.
Well, okay, you're obviously a little bit younger. You don't maybe know the scar tissue of other of some older fans, but just the job, the what you've seen over the past couple of years from somebody who's younger. That perspective. What have you seen the way that just the attitude and the feeling on IU football has changed in this town just over the past couple of years?
I just feel like everyone is talking about it now. Like even my grandparents who they go to soccer games and volleyball games, but they're getting IU football tickets now, and that's crazy to me. They're not really big football fans besides Detroit Lions fans. Go Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. No.
Yeah, go
Oh, I'm a
Detroit.
Bears fan here, so.
Oh, that's sad, honestly.
We got Vikings fan, we got Bears fans, we got okay, the whole NFC North. I haven't met a Packers fan. And good. Oh my God.
Yeah, but the influence around just seeing where the stadium, like how many people are there in the past 2 years or 3 years to now, it's just crazy to me. I mean, I remember watching Michael Penix Jr. and it's just awesome to see him go this far, really.
Yeah, it's exciting times to say the least. And now they have a game against Penn State and Wisconsin back here to close it out, and then you have Purdue in West Lafayette after a week off. It's going to be
Well, that's not really a game, is it?
well. You still got to take care of business. You got to go, but
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, they'll be ready to play to say the least.
I do think against Penn State, Drew Aller has gotten better over the past few games, and they had a big first half against Ohio State today. I checked the score and I'm like, oh shoot, they have a chance. And they did get blown out in the second half, but that's besides the point. They're a team that can compete and play some American football.
Yeah,
And we can't go into this game thinking we're going to win 40 just because they're 0-4 in the Big Ten. We can't do that.
yeah, no, that's something that Sig will make sure that they don't. That they don't do that, and that is a game you still have to win at Penn State, and that's a tough environment.
Sure.
So they're going to be up to play that one.
Yeah, especially there was that one game where I forget, but they had to call a timeout in the first play because they were so loud. If they bring that energy, it could really change the game, really.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Tommy. Thank you so much.
So much.
Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. I love all the guests. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's fun. We have Michelle says if the defense didn't play an amazing game, it would have looked a lot different. The offense was having a bit of trouble at the beginning, and they were having a little bit of trouble at the beginning. But again, they scored 20 points in the first half and then rolled after halftime. Fernando Mendoza, 14 of 21 passing for 201 yards and a touchdown. He added 4 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. A really nice effort by this offense to just stay calm, and that's something I think that is really different from maybe IU teams of the past. Not during Signetti's time, but IU teams of the past. So they've really done a great job of just continuing to you go then. Of continuing to just keep their eye on where they need to do, and it's really very fun to watch. And this is we've been doing the show, and I've taken a lot of calls over the years, including me and the fellow that's about to join us. Spent some raw years early in the Kevin Wilson era. I'm joined right now by Jeremy Gray here in the dark. That we have former call-in show host as well with me, Jeremy. Welcome back to the show, and it's great to watch some fun football, isn't it?
It is great to watch some fun football. It's also humbling to follow two high school freshmen who are better on the air than I am. Ryan Decker was incredible. I mean, just dropping straight knowledge. And then, I teach sports broadcasting 333 in the media school. And to see Tommy Chopra just become Tommy Chopra on the air, just bring his personality unasked onto the air, it was genuinely incredible. But yes, the football's been wild, and frankly, it's transformed the athletic department. I think it's helped the university immeasurably, and it's transformed the community in really powerful ways. And to see people this enthused is genuinely incredible.
Let's talk about how it's changed the athletic department, because obviously you see what it is on game day Saturdays and everything that goes along with it. But we both know that IU football in those rough years, you get into November, sometimes it could be you're in some of those years, especially those early Kevin Wilson years when you and I were on the air together. There were some rough times. There just has to be a little hop in everybody's step that's just different.
Everybody who works there walks into work 2 inches taller.
Mhm.
There's a sense of pride. I think it's helped a lot with morale. Obviously, it's helped with the bottom line. Frankly, selling out multiple games has changed the financial situation for the athletic department. And to harken back to Ryan Decker, a couple years ago, you could actually put a par 3 golf course on the sideline of our football games because no one wanted to come down there. And now you go pregame, and it's pretty impossible to navigate because all of the teams are using it as a major recruiting event and having, golfers, tennis players, prospective baseball, softball players on the sideline. And you look at it from a competitive standpoint, and you see volleyball ranked in the top 25. Soccer is continually ranked. Swimming and diving is dominant. Softball's had back-to-back 41 seasons. I think football is a huge part of that story, and I think it's going to benefit basketball greatly too in the Darren DeVries era.
Yeah, and basketball, of course, picking up a 4-star commitment. Not going to ask you about that, but it was
the rules are still the rules.
The rules are still the rules. But
you can pay them $1 million, but don't talk about them on the air.
That's right. That is something that it just does have this knock-on effect with everything that. It's just such a great change of pace. Now every week when you're watching with this team, what impresses you the most about them?
I think it's the focus. At IU, I mean, I've worked here for quite some time. There would be big games that would come up on the schedule. Like, well, if we could just win this one, it would just totally change things. They've had 18 straight of those, and they've come prepared to play, whether it's home and the road. Like today, a bad start, quirky injuries, and they win 55-10.
Yeah.
I'm standing on the sideline with coworkers, and we're beating Michigan State something like 35-10 midway through the third quarter, and we're all like, we're not playing very well today. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're in like an alternate dimension. Just their preparedness to play every single week, I think, is the biggest differentiator from years past.
Well, and I still have trouble wrapping my head around all this because I've been covering.
I work there, and I feel the same way. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like every week, and I say that at some point you just have to believe that it's going to be okay. It's going to get figured out because, like I said earlier, Surratt wasn't in most of the day. Aiden Fisher wasn't in most of the day. Signetti just plugged guys in and just went.
Those are two of the best IU football players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even close. But yeah, I've had to struggle mentally from we're playing really well to we're actually really good.
Right.
Like I think we are just really good.
Yes. And that's exactly it. This defense has only given up 7 offensive touchdowns this year.
The stats in every way are just preposterous. I'm not a gambler, and I don't want to talk about it too much. But the ability to cover the spread, to destroying ranked opponents. I believe we're one of the first 2 teams in the history of the Big Ten to win multiple games by scoring 50 points in the history of the conference. And we've now won 3 games scoring 50 points or more in this season alone. And by the way, we've got Wisconsin and Purdue still coming up on the schedule. Right. I'm not circling wins, but you got to like Indiana's chances. And now you have a bona fide Heisman candidate. And I do think that the national media has undersold, and I don't understand why, maybe the greatest coaching effort I've ever seen in college sports. When you look at what Indiana was and what Indiana is in no time, I don't understand why people aren't lining up to write the novel and get the movie rights.
Well, it is just like you said, so quick. And part of it could be a function of NIL and the transfer window.
I think it's middle management, but yes,
turn around.
Yes,
but it's middle management. Exactly.
Middle management.
This team being able to run the ball as well as they do.
Oh yeah, I mean 367 yards rushing today. Like it's insane. And then when people try to downplay it, saying, well, it's because of the transfer portal. Oh, so your money was on Indiana being the school out of 120 schools to master the transfer portal? And then they're like, well, it's just, James Madison guys. So you're saying James Madison guys should come to the Big Ten, parachute right in, and completely dominate? This is one of the great college sports stories of all time. And people will give comparisons. And Barry Alvarez, first ballot Hall of Famer. Bill Snyder, first ballot Hall of Famer. That took years. We microwaved a champion at Indiana.
Yeah, and Barry Alvarez also got to pay some players along the way too. I know that. You didn't say
it's
that.
beyond the
Was me saying
statute of
that.
limitations, so you can say what you want to say, Ken. This is free speech.
So, as we go forward, now we got Penn State, we got Wisconsin, we got Purdue, and then we have, whatever comes afterwards. What excites you most about the next couple of weeks? And, just how do you envision it playing out?
There's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal. And, Penn State's got several players that are going to play in the NFL. They were a preseason top 2-3 team in the country. You better beware. And going there to win is never going to be a given. So that's a really dangerous opponent. But, just the idea that 11-1, 12-0, playing in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, it's just an escapist fantasy.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's very real. We might be leading the Boston Marathon in mile 24, but we still have 2 miles to run, 2.2 miles to run for those who are particular about it. But the excitement in following these games, I think, has transformed the town. People are rearranging their schedules. Frankly, you came to a Halloween party and set up a table to broadcast from it. Like people have rearranged their lives around IU football, and it's a really special thing.
Before I let you go, this is a team and a program. Cignetti has gotten 2 extensions already. He's hit the ground running. We know that he's not going anywhere. The fact that he is able to just push and play guys in because it's such a good system, but it also means that there's a culture that is involved now. And now it's a thing of once that starts being established, it doesn't make a difference if the JMU guys move on because they will, because this culture is there and it's ingrained with the guys that are young.
By the way, he recruited and developed those players from
Exactly.
JMU. He's not he's not stealing somebody else's sunshine that way. I'll give you one quick story that's anecdotal, but I do think is illuminating to whatever the magic sauce is with Curt Cignetti. So one, you go into his office, there are not pictures on the wall. He has one yellow legal tablet and a pencil. That's the only thing that's on his desk. We were filming a series of videos to introduce the bison this last spring. And so we go in there. He's super excited about doing the bison thing. And I tell him what the script is. And each video was a takeoff of a movie. And I'm like, this is Jaws. You're going to be Roy Scheider on the boat. You're going to see this thing behind you. You're going to pretend to be scared. And then we'll cut. And he's like, I'm not scared of that thing. And I'm like, well, I know, Coach. Obviously, it's acting. It's a stuffed animal, but this will dovetail perfectly into the next video. And he's like, I'm not going to pretend to be scared of that thing. I'm not scared of it. Which kind of shows his unyielding approach to things and, frankly, his fearlessness. But more, I think, pointed to what is the special Curt Cignetti sauce. When he was watching film, he was legitimately watching film when we came in. And I said, what game are you watching? And he's like, it's Illinois against Akron 2007. He was watching Juice Williams' goal line offensive plays on a lazy, hot afternoon in May on the day he was supposed to record a Bison video. He is watching that much film, and I do think the details matter with Curt Cignetti. And I don't know what he was able to glean from that film watching. It made no sense to me at the time, but I think that's why he is different than the other head coaches in the country.
Well, again, as somebody who's been around for a long time, this has been a joy to see me do it, and it's just been really great to see you that you get to enjoy it. Like people like Don Fisher and people like Buck.
Hey, you had to do post-game shows from a very sleepy Colorado Steakhouse after barely beating Nicholls State, who had to borrow our uniforms after Hurricane Katrina. So no one has deserved to bask in the glow of this great Indiana football couple of years more than you can, and I really do appreciate your support.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Jeremy Gray, Uh, Joan, it's for returning to the show. Actually, it's a little bit different. Um, really excited to have these people join us. It's been a ton of fun here on the chat. Shell Cracker Lover 5889. I don't think that's their real name. Says there's never been a story quite like the Kurt Signetti and Indiana football story, and that's hard to argue with. I mean, because it has been so quick of a turnaround, so incredibly impressive to see what they're able to do. 812-393-2600 is the number. Uh, I will say this much. I was watching the broadcast as we're joined by more guests. Watching the broadcast earlier today, and I got to tell you, Gary Danielson. It bothered me because it seemed that he was taking a certain amount of glee almost in his voice in talking about Indiana's injuries, and that bothered me more than a little bit. And there wasn't a lot of credit being sent Indiana's way, but that's fine because week after week after week, Indiana is just hammering people. So at some point, they are going to be taken seriously. And every week just builds on that. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open, but we are joined by a guest here here at the Decker Halloween party post game show. How are you doing? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jude. I'm doing pretty good.
Jude, your thoughts on the game and on Indiana football?
I thought it was pretty well won game. I mean, another blowout, nothing unusual for the Hoosiers. I mean, continuing the trend over the past 2 years.
It's lovely to have boring games.
Yeah, it is.
It is. They're fun to watch, especially there's not a lot of nerves involved. There's been one game this season, and that's the Iowa game
Yeah.
that made you nervous, and they got the job done, and this defense continues to perform.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Indiana's continuing what they've been doing and keeping alive the Signetti. I mean, not much else to say. I mean, Indiana's just doing what they do and dominating.
I asked Tommy this question earlier about just how, especially with guys your age, the feeling on IU football. What are your thoughts on how IU football, the perception of it, has changed over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's in school, it's what people talk about a lot now. I mean, a few years ago, it wasn't brought up, but now with the wins, it's a lot of times even me, Tommy, Ryan, we all
Mhm.
talk about it in school, and it's what we like look forward to over the weekends to go to the games, watch the games.
Yeah, do you get to go out to Memorial
Yeah, I
Stadium?
go a lot. I go with my friends, the Rosaleses.
Okay.
They normally take me.
That's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's great to see it go ahead and just fill up with fans. You ever made your way over to the Section 19 crew that takes their shirt off? And
Yeah, I was first.
that's now become a thing in college football.
Yeah,
That started here.
happened today at Clemson.
Yeah.
Also. I was there. Me and my older brother, Noah. First week that it happened, we were one of the first probably 15 people in there. We were third row.
Okay.
Someone sent me a photo of me on TV.
Very nice.
That was
See,
awesome.
again, that's that culture that I'm talking about. That Signetti has it with the players, but now this culture of fans coming to the games, being there on time, doing all of that, I think makes a huge difference and helps this thing kind of perpetuate itself.
Yeah, with Mendoza, he like shouted out that crew after that first game,
Mm-hmm.
talking about just thanking everything, and I mean the fans have played a crucial role recently.
Speaking of Fernando Mendoza, obviously he gets a lot of attention for on Heisman voting.
Yeah.
His brother looks very solid. There's not a lot of drop off when Alberto comes into the game, and it's different because usually he comes out in a blowout situation. But the fact that they've been able to plug in, go from Curtis Rourke, who was very good last year, to Fernando Mendoza, and you see what Alberto can be down the road. To me, again, that's just all of those things that say this thing is going to be something that's sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, I see if we have Fernando Mendoza, if he uh, most likely gets drafted after this year, going in the top, I presume 5 picks. And I think we have another Mendoza who will come up and hopefully do the same thing.
Be able to just plug and play him right in.
Yeah.
Should be a ton of fun.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it. Take care. Another guest. Love all the guests that we have here. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open. Throw me a question in the chat. That would be fine. Midwest Boxing says, can't wait until the recruits start to follow. And that is absolutely the case. That is something that that needs to not pick up. That's not the case. But they just it's coming. It's coming. I think that a lot of people had to figure out if whether it was going to be something that was a one and done situation, if Kurt Signetti was going to be here, and it's very clear that he is going to be here, and he deserves to be here. And IU, I think, has done a really good job of taking care of business with that. Continuing our string of the reunion show as we continue. We welcome on John Decker, another former call-in show, or is it Burt Macklin?
Burt Macklin today or tonight.
Well, first off, thanks for hosting the party. It's a big party, a big group of people here. That's why we're doing it here. Ryan Decker had suggested that we do it live out here, and I thought it was a great idea.
Well, normally we get like 5 people that come to our house party since we're doing the call-in show.
I know that's not the
we
truth.
have like 80 or 90 or.
You can't just get on the mic and start lying.
Well, hey, that's the story I'm going with.
So you're another one that has watched a lot of these Indiana football over the years, from your days at Inside Indiana to working for different websites and just working with the department. And your thought on not just today, but the last couple of years and how that has gone.
Incredible. I think that I got here, to age myself. I was a freshman in the fall of 1987, and for those diehard IU football fans to know that that was the fall that we beat Ohio State, went on the road, we beat Michigan at home, and incredible experience. I came to IU to study journalism, and I thought, working athletic department, I was excited about the idea about being around Bob Knight, and that experience really left a mark on me because it told me that there's something incredibly special about being good at football.
Yeah.
Every game matters so much. You get a full week build up to every game. And I've told people that a lot. I've worked at IU through some great years of basketball with Albert Cheney, obviously Yogi and groups like that. But yeah, I always remember that there was nothing that was better than being good at football in 1987. And this is a whole different level. That was a year in which we got those 2 wins. We had a chance to go to the Rose Bowl if we beat Michigan State and didn't get it done. But this is competing for a national championship. This is a chance to win a Big Ten championship and truly being one of the elite teams in the country, and incredibly special. That to be honest, I don't know that I could have ever imagined this happening. So it's been incredibly rewarding and exciting to be a part of it.
Because it was so far out of the realm of possibility when you spend your years trying to circle 6 wins. And how do you get to a bowl? How do you get to a bowl? I haven't been to a bowl in 14 years, back in 2007. Can we get to play 13? This is so far from that. And Indiana football's actually had some pretty damn good years over the past 6, 7 years. The 2019 season, I think they went 8-5. You had the COVID year; they did well in that. Then you had a couple of down years, and then the last 2 years. The idea of competing for a Big Ten championship or a national championship was bananas. You're just trying to find 6 wins, and now it's what is the ceiling?
Without a doubt, I think that a lot of IU fans, with the old Big Ten split of the divisions, it was always a challenge, and I think a lot of us sat down at the beginning of the year and thought, well, can't win at Ohio State. Beating Michigan home, incredibly difficult. This is a year where Michigan State's really good.
Right.
It's going to be tough. And like those days in these last 2 years are gone. I mean, I think that probably most IU fans sat down at the start of the year and were like, well, at Oregon and at Penn State are going to be incredibly difficult. Right. I'm probably going to go and pencil those in as losses. And that is not how this coaching staff thinks. That's not how these players think. And in a lot of ways, I think fans, we need to catch up with how they think.
Right.
Because they go into every game, go into every season, clearly with their track record, expecting that there's no game on the schedule that they do not expect to win. And they're proving that.
Fernando Mendoza, as efficient as he has been, just your thoughts on the way he's handled himself as the spotlight has gotten brighter and brighter this year.
Incredibly well. I think he's a fun person to be around, a fun person to listen to. I think that, he's somebody that obviously goes way out of his way to credit his coaches, credit his teammates, and there's no doubt that that resonates with them. But I think that he's another example. Obviously, a phenomenal quarterback, incredibly efficient, incredibly accurate, but needed to be at the right place with the right offensive line, with the right coaches, with the right wide receivers to play at this level because this is a completely different level for him. And but I think that Coach Signetti thought he was very capable of that. So it's exciting. I was around when Anthony Thompson was very much in the running to win the Heisman and didn't get that done. So it's just achieving on the highest level in every way for this football team.
And as they keep stacking wins, that just draws more and more attention uh, to him. But you also know that you have Sig and that coaching staff that's going to make sure he stays grounded.
Without a doubt, I think whenever you hear them talk, it's very clear that they believe what they say, and certainly players go out and they say the right things, but they don't necessarily always feel that way. I think that there's no doubt that this team understands what they're trying to do. I think that they understand that if they're successful in those efforts, that all the individual things will come with that, and so it's great to see.
From a player standpoint, I wanted to bring up Indiana's run game. Again, they run for a total of 367 yards today. Black, Hemby, and Kobe Martin. Three guys that are basically the same types of runners. All of them run so hard and finish off runs to the point that, in my eyes, Roman Hemby might be third on that list, or to be just because Black, you give him the ball, he's going to pick up yards. Can be the same way. He doesn't go for a lot of losses either, but they all run so hard. And when you could have your starting running back be a guy that there's zero drop off when you're talking about bringing in the guy, the backup, the third stringer, it's incredible.
Yeah, and I think this is, obviously it's building depth. It's the kind of thing that we've seen many IU teams in which they've had, one to two to three or to four critical players that you're like, if you lose somebody,
Right.
it's going to be such a drop off. And this team is building that depth, and the running back position is one that is very clear. And also, I think when the, it's a little bit like Mendoza as far as Kurt Signetti needs an incredible amount of credit for his ability to identify players. He was able to identify the James Madison players that could compete at the Big Ten level because he had a number of very good players at James Madison who did not come with him.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we talk about all the Aiden Fishers of the world and the Kalon Blacks, but other good ones that didn't come that obviously he didn't think could compete at the Big Ten level, and he's hit on those guys, and I think he's hit with the transfer portal people, and obviously Hemby is somebody who's done great things, but like you said, if he leaves, you got Kalon Black, and you just go right down the list.
And from a culture standpoint, again, now that you have this defense that again has given up 7 offensive touchdowns. That is a mind-boggling stat in modern football to me. That you have a defense that is that consistent, and the mistakes that have been big busts. So you don't have a lot of grinded out kind of things that somebody makes a mistake and then it falls apart. But it's happened like 4 times this year. I mean, it's when you have that culture to where now it isn't that you're just playing for yourself. It's also you have a standard that isn't just what the coaches are telling you to do. Your teammates are expecting it. That makes things a lot different.
Yeah. I think we have a culture of, obviously we've had a lot of games that have gotten a little bit, out of hand, and I think from the defensive standpoint, it's not as if we're comfortable when you get ahead of UCLA that we're comfortable. Well, if they score a couple late touchdowns and win 56-20, that's okay.
Right.
Like no, I mean they have everything that they do. Um, they really do go with the mindset of it's 0-0, and it's this play. Forget about the last one. Don't think about the next one. And it's been incredibly rewarding to see.
When you're roaring through opponents to where your starting quarterback can come out after 3 quarters and you're very comfortable, that also means some decent playing time for guys that are going to be that next generation. The experience they're getting in blowouts are incredible.
Without a doubt, I think that I think we Aiden Fisher is somebody that's been so critical to this team, and obviously you want him to get healthy, you want him
Right.
to get back, but the opportunity for some people to play a linebacker, and obviously he's played a lot this year, but Isaiah Jones, how good he's been, and get a chance to see some of these people and see how that they can, fill in and fit in once some of the James Madison or the older players are gone. It's going to pay off as we look ahead to the postseason. It's going to certainly pay it, you know, as we look ahead to next year. It's going to be a team that's just going to continue to be, I think, competing at an incredibly high level.
John, thank you so much for having me, for joining me. I'm glad to have you back on the mic, and I'll let you get back to your party.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you
Ken.
so much. 812-393-2600 is the number. We haven't gotten a call tonight, and that's okay. That's not the end of the world. There's a lot going on. Game 7 of the World Series is starting up. Here, Indiana's on the road, so I'm not stunned by any of it. But it is exciting to have it, be just such a great night for Indiana to move to 9-0 on the season. 55-10 winners over Maryland, and that is the main thing that you want out of the day. As we're going to have another guest joining me now. This one is somebody else that's also a familiar name. This is our very favorite hot dog, who also is Doug Wilson, who's another former IU media guy who covered some bad football over the years. Doug, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. It's good to see you here, and good to be talking at this time about IU football. That's for sure.
Well, and in seeing how just uh, the town and the fans and everybody have kind of rallied around this program has been really, really incredible.
Yeah, it has. I used to cover the team for the Herald Times.
Hmm.
Long before that, I was an IU fan. I was one of these people who grew up in town watching it. I'm 60 now, so I started watching IU football and really going to pretty much all the games in the early Lee Corso years.
Yeah.
So I've seen all the coaches come through, and it's amazing to me and to so many people to see something like this happening now.
What's it like to be on this side of things? There's some programs, this happens every year.
Yeah.
And I'm still wrapping my head around it. We're in year 2 of this, but I mean, how does it feel to be on this side of it?
It shocking. I mean, honestly, I'm getting to where I don't reflexively expect the worst to happen
Right.
as much as I always
Hmm.
have. But I mean, that's been our experience over the years. Okay, the big game comes or the big moment comes at the end of the game,
Yep.
things go bad. I mean, it's just been so much a part of the IU football experience over the years. It's just incredible what's happening now.
And we're not even getting to that big moment having an opportunity to happen,
Yeah.
because they're handling business in the first half, for
So
God's sake.
dominant. I mean, and watching the game today, and so many of the games now, one of the things that really stands out to me is the way they dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Hmm.
I just never thought I'd really see that.
Right.
Because in recent years, even when IU had good teams, it's because they have good skill players largely. I mean, you would talk with assistant coaches on the team, and they would tell you things like, well, we need to have a running quarterback at IU because we're never going to be able to recruit at a level where we can put that offensive line
Right.
together on a consistent basis, or that defensive line together on a consistent basis. And I mean, you and I started covering the team together during the Hefner year.
Yeah.
I think. And Terry Hefner, very good coach,
Hmm.
very successful at a lower level. But you remember the bubble screen?
Hmm.
They used to do the bubble screen because they couldn't run the ball.
Right.
Once they got against a good team, running game not working.
Right.
And it's just amazing to watch what they do now and dominate the running game in the way that they have on both sides of the ball. It's shocking. I love it.
Well, and not only are they getting that push, but like I said earlier, the running backs are just, there's no drop off from one to the next.
Yeah.
That to me has been just an incredible part of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. You watch Kobe Martin and say you'd like to see him play more, don't
Yeah, for
you?
sure,
Yeah,
for sure, and you know that he will be around
yeah,
to go ahead and to help out. And if somebody goes down, next guy steps up,
yeah.
and again, that is a culture thing.
It is, and I mean, the coaching is obviously a huge part of all of
Sure.
this. The scheme and the way they play and the way they make their blocks and the way the guys are all in the right place and are disciplined. But to me, one of the big fears coming into this season was, okay, these guys are obviously really talented. The coaching staff obviously is very successful and knows what they're doing. But I'm concerned because they're not as deep as the Ohio States and the
Right.
States and the Oregons and some of those teams. They haven't had the years to recruit in that way, and I'm concerned that if an Aiden Fisher goes down or if other key players go down, they just won't have the guys to really step up, because that's always been the experience at IU.
Right.
And it's been amazing how, okay, they have had some guys go down, which you know is going to happen, and they haven't missed a beat with it so far.
Yeah, they even lost a couple of linemen today that went out for a time. Some guys came back,
Yeah.
but there was no drop off. You have a couple of linemen that a little bit of disruption in your O line.
Yeah.
367 yards rushing.
I know.
It, it,
Remarkable.
it really, really is. So, as we move forward over the next couple of weeks and into next year, obviously the results on the field are really important. The contract extension for Sig was huge because it locks them in and everybody knows he's going to be here. What's the next steps in your view for this program?
It's so hard to tell, it's all beyond my comprehension.
Mhm.
Because my next fear is that they're going to lose assistant coaches or lose coordinators.
Right.
It just seems like that has to happen at some point. Some of these guys are going to be handed head coaching jobs. They have to.
Yeah.
The way this is going. But I still from what we've seen so far, they're going to have a plan. They're going to figure it out. They're going to make it work. I mean, you would think we need to talk about the future, but who knows what's going to happen this season?
Right.
Still,
we have a guy that calls in every week and he says, "What's the limit for this team?" And at this point, sky is the limit.
Do you remember Terry Hefner used to tell us that all the time? When we'd ask him questions, he'd say, "I'm not going to put any limitations
Right.
on this team,"
Mm-hmm.
and that feels real now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I never thought we could be number 2.
No.
I don't know what we can do or can't do. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And what we're doing to these teams that have always been somewhat of a challenge, to where,
Yeah.
like Maryland, it was a team that maybe you were going to beat them, maybe you weren't.
Yeah.
Michigan State was the same way. Iowa at
Yeah.
times. I've always said that I wanted Indiana football to be like Iowa,
Yeah.
where every couple of years you're really good, but then you have a couple of years you're still go to a bowl, but
Yeah.
and he's skipped a step.
Yeah. He has. When you watch the team, they're that good.
Yes.
It's for real. I mean, like you say, they're not just beating people.
Right.
They're killing people.
Right.
That was happening last year.
Mm-hmm.
There were people who were very skeptical who said, "Oh, the schedule's not that tough and whatever." But if you watched them,
Mm-hmm.
if you watched how they block, if you watched how they played, oh yeah, they're that good without a doubt, and they were just killing people.
Yeah.
Until some things happened at the end of the season. They're for real. They were last year, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and they are this year for sure. And I don't know what the future brings, but it's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It really is. It really is, and I'm not used to it. Don't want to get used to it. To be honest with you.
What Jeremy was talking about earlier about people making a movie about this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Why not?
It's yeah.
It's the next level.
And just going to the games now.
Mm-hmm.
What an experience. I mean, it's I started off talking to you about what it was like growing up going to the games, and what it was largely about was camaraderie with people who went to the games.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of all suffered together
Right.
year after year, and I think probably fans of a lot of football teams know that experience.
Right.
Where you're not the best, but it's all your friends that are there, and you have a good time. Kind of commiserate over how it goes, and it was just amazing this experience in the season, like that Illinois game
Mm-hmm.
this year.
Yeah.
Just an incredible experience. One of the most amazing sporting events I've ever been to. A lot of ways at night, and how excited everyone was, and just this is going to be a tough game. We're finally going to see what they're about. And they just killed. I mean, they just took them
63-10
from beginning to end.
It's 60. So just off the top of my head, let's see. They put 70 plus on Indiana State, 63 on Illinois, 50 plus on, I think 56 they put on UCLA, 55 on Maryland, and they beat the hell out of Kennesaw State too.
Yeah.
I can't.
Turns out to be quite a good team.
Yes. And that's and ODU has been good too for their level. And that one, there was only a 27. They only scored 27 on that one, as Mendoza was kind of working out some bugs in his game. Just extraordinary.
Yeah, no doubt.
Doug, thanks so much for joining us.
Good
really
seeing you.
appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Yeah, you too for sure.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Our hot dog right there. 812-393-2600 is the number. We will be going ahead and bringing up Kurt Signetti and his post-game press conference as we add in there every single week. With that, it's a ton of fun to hear what Sig has to say. Trying to see if that video is currently available for download. Not from the official IU one, but that does not mean that we can't get that from the Peegs.com feed. So I will pull that up right now and download it while we're doing this. 812-393-2600 is the number. We don't get any calls. We're going to listen to SIG, and then we'll kind of shut it down. But just the next week, I think, is going to be a very, very interesting game because they are at Penn State, and that is a Penn State team that is has a lot to play for, that wants to prove that they belong, and so Indiana's going to have to be ready to play when that comes along. But from what we've seen, everything that there is, there's just no doubt that that is something that is going to end up being the case. So, without further ado, let's hear what Curt Cignetti had to say during his post-game press conference following the Maryland win.
All right, it's hard to win on the road. Good win. Game didn't start out great, with the turnover. Defense did a great job of holding them to 3 points. In the second drive, the offense didn't do a whole lot either. Defense held them again. And at the end of the day, the defense created 5 turnovers. This was the number 1 team in the country in turnover ratio going into the game. Offense ran the ball for 370 yards. I think Maryland ran for 25. So it's hard to win on the road. It's a really good win.
Zach and Revy.
I guess, Curt, first, were any of those injuries, are there any serious injury concerns?
No, we came out good. I mean, Surratt, hamstring tightened up on him a little bit. And, we've got some guys with some bumps and bruises. And, as the week went on, it didn't look real good for Fisher playing. So there was no surprise there. And, Drew Evans, will be out for a few weeks. So we came out pretty good. Now, we got some guys that are sore. We played a few games in a row now, but we came out good.
I guess, you talked about the way the defense held early, the complementary football this team plays. How much does that start to feed on itself with this group? That the defense understands the offense will pick them up if they need. The offense knows it can go a couple empty drives because the defense isn't going to cave. Just how much confidence does that give this group?
From my standpoint, the thing I'm most proud of is the way that they listen to the message about playing one play at a time, regardless of the circumstances. And you see that in the fourth quarter. But the defense has all year long risen to the occasion when their backs are against the wall. It wasn't perfect tonight defensively, trust me. Open field tackling wasn't very good. They had some explosive plays. But there's a lot of good things there on tape, and it's a good win.
Revy, then Jim.
Yeah, Coach, wanted to get your thoughts on your offensive line's play. Obviously, Evans isn't there yet. You guys just you totally ran over him like 3 or 4 drives and 367.
Yeah. That's a combination of having a physical mindset and our backs running really hard and receivers part of that blocking pattern too and breaking tackles. It takes all 11 guys. And, I think there was that point. You saw it early in the game. They went down the first drive and scored, second half, 20-10.
Yeah.
We answered. And then we started getting some turnovers and opened the game up. And then you just sort of saw like a little change in that game, right? And that's usually how it happens in the run game. Doesn't happen right away. It usually happens sometime in the middle, third quarter, and that's what happened tonight.
Jim, then Daniel.
Curt, you guys have been great on both sides of the ball in the second half of games, and especially defensively. You've only given up 2 touchdowns in the second half all season. How important is that for that defense to get stronger as the games go on?
That's a great stat. I wasn't aware of that. And, our defense has been really great all year. How many total touchdowns have we given up? 7 all year. So, but look, there's a lot to clean up, trust me. Good night. It's a good night.
Daniel and Seth.
It kind of seems like there's just this innate trait where you guys just keep swinging, you know, score aside, time aside. How special, how unique is it to have a trait like that?
That's key to drill with me. I mean, it is that you're playing from the first play to last play the same. And, you know, we're getting close to getting that. You know, we're real close. And that's why you see some of the results that you see. There's not the ups and downs relative to good plays, bad plays, circumstances of the game. You know, you see guys like laying it on the line every play. And I give them and the assistants a lot of credit for that.
Seth and Zach.
Kurt, the way you guys started the game, obviously, this isn't the first time you faced, you know, little adversity like that, and I mean, it just doesn't seem to shake your group. Like, why is this team able to be so unflappable?
Well, it's a veteran group. You know, you got on offense, a lot of guys have played a lot of football, and really the same on defense. So, you know, chances are all these guys have been in this situation before, right? And, you know, they know how to respond. Or not react, so to speak, right? The key is always your response. So really proud of our defense, the way and then the offense started picking it up, and a lot of it was a ground game, but the pass game chipped into.
Zach Bean and Zion.
With some of the bumps and bruises that you guys picked up tonight, what did tonight's performance tell you specifically about the depth of your football team?
Well, you know, we've had some guys step in, step up, and that's what you got to have. And sometimes you never really know about a guy till he gets an opportunity. And that's really true because, you know, when a guy gets an opportunity, he can become a little bit of a different kind of guy. Because, you know, the twos get limited reps in practice, and, you know, I'm sure it's not fun. But we're going to need more people to step up because we don't have an off week for a couple more weeks yet.
Zion and back to Zach.
Kurt, last week you had kind of talked about Mike Shanahan and his play calling. I was just curious, throughout your coaching career, at any point were you the play caller, and just what makes you have that confidence in him?
Yeah, I called him at IUP. Mike, I hired our last year at IUP. When we went to Elon, I hired a new coordinator and gave him play calling responsibility, but I would interject and depend on game, you know, but I kind of but I've always like kind of run the meetings, so to speak, the offensive staff meetings in season, and I'll interject, and that hadn't changed. Lately, not as much. I'm kind of letting him and Chandler go.
Zach, last one.
You've mentioned many times how experienced this team is, but you always talk about guys getting opportunities. I know nobody's worried about the future, but how encouraging is it when you see younger guys like Mario Landino, like Kobe Martin, guys that when they're handed that opportunity, whether it's obviously, you know, early in the game or even as these games wear on, you're seeing young guys really sort of take advantage of development opportunities.
No, you're exactly right, you know, because the thing about this job, you know, you're getting ready to play a game, right? But you're always looking down the road at your 2016 and your 2017, and you know the new portal date, and how it's going to affect your program, et cetera, high school, you know, recruiting, and then to have young guys step up like that, you know, it's good to see.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks.
So there was Curt Cignetti during his post-game press conference. Just a confident guy, as always. That's how Sig rolls. So last call for phone calls, 812-393-2600. Give us a call. Give us your thoughts. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because, quite honestly, I'm getting cold. And I really appreciate John Decker having us over. Ryan Decker suggested all this. This is a great idea. And here's something just that I want IU fans to understand. And I don't think I need to remind you, but I will right now. It is 8:14 p.m. We've been on the air for about an hour. Purdue is playing Michigan right now, and the game is tied at 7 at Michigan. Purdue is tied. Purdue is not a good football team, but so Michigan isn't either. But playing in the Big Ten is difficult, and Indiana makes it look like they're playing non-conference games every week, and that's where we are, and that's what Kurt Signetti has done to this program, and it has been a ton of fun to see. So now Indiana's next step is to take on Penn State. And they have Penn State, they have Wisconsin, they got a week off, they got Purdue, and then we'll go from there. 55-10 is your final. I want to thank John Decker for coming on. I want to thank Doug Wilson and Jeremy Gray and Ryan Decker and all the guys that Ryan's friends that join us, the young guys. It's always great to get an extra infusion of energy. It's exciting. Again, I'm dressed as Charlie Brown, so that's always exciting as well. There's somebody in a Jay Cutler jersey over there, so that's now officially a throwback. Go Bears. So that'll do it for us tonight. It's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening. I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabb, Johns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time. But for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.